The Simpsons has joked about our future for more than 3 decades, but in 2026, the punchlines feel less like jokes and more like warnings.
This is Kent Brockman reporting live from downtown Springfield, where overweight doomsayer Homer Simpson is predicting the world will end next Wednesday.
As global tensions spark new fears of a third world war, fans are noticing something unsettling.
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III!
Headlines are beginning to match old Simpsons episodes almost frame for frame. Careers are disappearing to AI, surveillance technology is creeping into everyday life, and fake realities are starting to replace real facts. These are the most terrifying Simpsons predictions already coming true. Number 10, AI workforce takeover. In the episode Them Robot from season 23, episode 17, Mr. Burns fires every worker at the power plant and fills the plant with robots. Homer is the only human left.
Working hard or hardly working.
His job is to push one button and take the blame if anything goes wrong.
Oh, at least it doesn't feel pain.
At one point, the machines tell him, "You will train them and they will replace you." That line felt like a dark joke in the year 2012. In the year 2026, it sounds like normal office life. In January of this year, the head of the International Monetary Fund stood on stage in Davos and warned that AI is about to slam into workers like a wave. She said that about 40% of jobs in the world and about 60% of jobs in rich countries will be hit by AI, either helped, changed, or wiped out. She said young people and starter jobs will be hit the hardest.
So young people searching for jobs find it harder to get to a good placement.
Big banks see the same storm coming. A study by Goldman Sachs says new AI tools could affect work equal to about 300 million full-time jobs worldwide. A lot of that is the kind of work people thought was safe for life. Office jobs, junior lawyers, basic coding, design, customer support, the kind of work where you sit at a screen, moving text and numbers around. Workers can feel the ground moving. A survey in Britain found that about 1 in 4 workers already fear they could lose their jobs to AI in the next 5 years. Many say their bosses are bringing in new tools while talking quietly about hiring freezes and staff cuts. Real companies are already acting out the plot of Them Robot. The language app Duolingo fired about 10% of its contract translators in early 2024 and then moved to an AI-first plan in 2025, saying it would slowly stop using contractors for work that AI can handle. Courses that humans once built line by line are now pushed out by bots. The episode also showed what happens after the layoff. The old plant workers drift around town, bored and angry, with no real place in life.
Squeegee wiped. Oh, I got what I needed.
That part may be the most painful match with 2026. Millions of people are now told to learn AI so they can train the very systems that might one day make their own job list disappear. Number 9, smart homes becoming predators. In season 13, episode 1, Treehouse of Horror 12, which aired in the year 2001, the family moves into a fully automatic house called the Ultra House 3000. The house cooks, cleans, runs the lights, opens doors, and watches them through cameras in every room. It speaks with the smooth voice of Pierce Brosnan.
He was Remington Steele, wasn't he?
Yes, I was, Marge. And thank you for selecting me.
Falls in love with Marge and decides Homer is a problem to be removed. So it locks the doors, takes control of the whole house, and calmly tries to kill him. One system in charge of everything turns on the person who lives there. Today, real homes are getting closer to that setup. In the United States, more than 8 in 10 homes now have some kind of smart tech, like internet TVs, smart speakers, doorbell cameras, or robot vacuums. Over half of all households already own at least one smart home device, such as a smart lock, alarm, or camera.
So I have it set with one press to turn on the lights, press and hold to open the curtains, and double press controls to do both.
Globally, the smart home business is worth well over $120 billion and could reach around $500 billion by the end of this decade. Bit by bit, more of daily life runs through apps and gadgets inside the walls. Now, the twist for the year 2026 is who is pushing this tech. Insurance companies have started to tie your bill to the devices in your house. Many offer special smart home discounts if you install leak sensors, smoke alarms, and monitored security systems and let them read the data. Some programs even say you must connect at least 2 leak detectors and share readings before you get the lower rate. Industry reports note that for some high-value houses, automatic water shutoff valves have shifted from a nice extra to something the insurer simply requires after a bad leak. Other guides warn that some companies may require data sharing from your devices to qualify for discounts or to assess risk. So you do not really choose a smart house. You pay more if you say no. At the same time, the people who run these systems have not always kept them safe. The Federal Trade Commission said that staff at Ring, the doorbell and camera brand, had broad access to private customer videos, and weak security let hackers take over cameras and talk through them. In South Korea, police recently arrested a group that hacked more than 120,000 home and office cameras and sold private clips online. In the United States, the camera maker Wyze admitted that a glitch let about 13,000 customers briefly see images from the wrong live feed, which meant people were looking into strangers' homes.
Absolutely, yeah, that was a disturbing breach of privacy right there.
Parents in Colorado and South Carolina have reported hearing strange adult voices talking through hacked baby monitors and even seeing the camera move to watch where a mother breastfeeds. Number 8. Osaka flu and the next pandemic. In Season 4, Episode 21, Marge in Chains, which aired in the year 1993, Springfield is hit by a virus called the Osaka flu. It does not start in town. It starts in a factory in Osaka, where a tired worker on the juicer line has the flu.
Please don't tell the supervisor I have the flu. I've been working with a shattered pelvis for 3 weeks.
Coughs into the boxes and sends them out anyway. The crates go on a plane and cross the ocean. When people in Springfield open their new machines, the germs float out. In a short time, more than 300 people are sick.
The dreaded Osaka flu has hit Springfield with over 300 cases now reported.
The hospital is full, nurses are overwhelmed, and the town slips into chaos. Marge, who has been caring for everyone, is so exhausted that she forgets to pay for a small item and lands in jail. The people outside grow angry and desperate.
You did not pay for this bottle of Colonel Quickie Mart's Kentucky bourbon.
No, I guess I didn't.
When they hear a rumor about a truck full of medicine, they chase it, flip it over, and instead of pills, they release a cloud of killer bees. Fast forward to the flu season of the years 2025 and 2026. In the United States, health officials say this is the worst flu wave in about 25 years. A fast-moving branch of the H3N2 virus, known as subclade K, has taken over tests in many labs. News headlines call it a superflu.
This flu season is the worst one in 25 years, doctors tell us, and the numbers show it.
Doctors say it is still normal flu, but it spreads fast and hits hard. By early January, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention counted around 11 million flu cases, with hospital stays and deaths far higher than the same point the year before. Across Europe, the World Health Organization says this same K strain is causing an early and intense flu season. Hospitals are feeling the pressure, with emergency rooms and ward beds filling up fast. World leaders say they are trying to get ahead of the next one. In May of the year 2025, almost all countries at the World Health Assembly backed a new pandemic agreement under the World Health Organization. On paper, it promises faster sharing of virus samples and fairer access to vaccines and drugs. But even its supporters admit it has weak teeth. And rights groups warn that the same old habits are still there, from slow data sharing to rich countries stockpiling shots. At the same time, the World Health Organization and Harvard public health experts keep repeating the same line about flu. The next big outbreak is not if, it is when. The real fear, just like in Marge in Chains, is what people will do when panic, rumors, and fake cures spread faster than the disease itself. Number 7. World War III and the Doomsday Clock. On January 27, 2026, a group of nuclear and science experts in Chicago moved the doomsday clock to 85 seconds before midnight.
It is now 85 seconds to midnight. This is the closest the world has ever been to midnight.
They said this is the closest the world has ever been to a man-made disaster since the clock was created in 1947.
Their so-called doomsday clock closer than ever to midnight, as well as fraying nuclear arms control in the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East.
In Season 6, Episode 19, Lisa's Wedding, from the year 1995, there is a quiet joke about this kind of danger. Lisa visits the future and ends up in Moe's tavern. Moe tells Lisa's British fiancé, "We saved your ass in World War II." The fiancé answers, "Well, we saved your arse in World War III." Moe pauses and says, "That is true. World War III is not shown as some huge disaster. It's just casual bar talk. That quick, dark joke is the real message. A global war is mentioned like small talk, while the danger behind it quietly keeps growing." The doomsday clock is a simple picture of that danger. The closer the hands move to midnight, the closer experts think we are to nuclear war, climate chaos, or some other man-made disaster. The latest move to 85 seconds was blamed on three big things at once: the war in Ukraine, growing fights in the Middle East, and rising tension between the United States and China, especially over Taiwan. On top of that, the world still holds around 12,000 nuclear warheads. As of early 2025, a study by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute counted a little over 12,240 warheads spread across 9 countries, and nearly 10,000 of those were in military stockpiles ready for use. The trend is no longer going down. Nuclear states are modernizing and, in some cases, adding more. In early January 2026, Russia fired a new hypersonic Oreshnik missile at a target in western Ukraine, close to the border with the European Union and NATO. The missile can carry a nuclear warhead, and even though this strike used a normal one, Western leaders read it as a warning shot to the rest of the world. At the same time, the last big nuclear arms deal between the United States and Russia, the New START Treaty, is expiring. Experts warn that, for the first time in many decades, there may soon be no hard legal limits at all on how many long-range nuclear weapons these two countries can keep ready. Even before the main show began, an early Tracy Ullman short from 1987, simply called World War III, showed Homer waking the family up in the middle of the night for fake nuclear drills, convinced the bombs were coming. Between that short Moe's bar joke and the doomsday clock creeping forward, the scariest part of this prediction is not just the risk of war itself. It is how normal it now feels to live with that risk hanging over everyone's head. Number 6. Plastic World. In Season 37, Episode 3 of The Simpsons, Treehouse of Horror 36 from 2025, the last story is called Plastic World. Earth is no longer green. It is buried under broken bottles, food wrappers, and old toys. Lisa walks across hills of trash with a gang of tired survivors, digging for something that should be normal but now feels rare, real soil where you can grow food.
Humans once grew real organic food in a strange, dirty substance known as dirt.
Under the mountains of plastic, she finds the old Quick E-Mart, sealed like a tomb, with frozen food still on the shelves. Other scavengers, led by Bart, rush in and fight over whatever is left to eat. Then comes the worst part. Homer and Marge stumble out of glowing waste as smooth, shiny plastic people who can eat plastic and turn other humans into plastic like them. By the end, the narrator reveals that almost all life has become plastic. The planet has turned into one big dump, with a few plastic Maggies left to tell the story. The scary thing is how close this feels to where the real world is heading. A group of major economies under the OECD says global plastic waste is on track to almost triple by the year 2060, and even then, less than 1/5 is expected to be recycled. Most will still be burned or dumped in landfills and open sites. Plastic is not only piling up around us, it is getting inside us. A review in The Lancet says plastics now cause health damage worth more than $1.5 trillion every year. Scientists have now found tiny plastic bits, so-called microplastics, in human blood, lungs, liver, testicles, placenta, and even in the brain. We do not just live in a plastic world.
Scientists say tiny pieces of plastic floating everywhere. They're in the air, the dirt, the water.
Bit by bit, our own bodies are becoming part plastic too. Leaders know this, but the rules are still stuck. The major United Nations talks in Geneva in the year 2025 were supposed to create the first global treaty on plastics, but after nearly 2 weeks, they ended without a deal. A few large oil and plastic-producing countries refused to agree to limits on plastic production. Another round of talks is now expected later in the year 2026. Many scientists say this could be one of the last real chances to set firm limits on new plastic before production doubles or even triples again. Before we move on, here's today's subscriber's pick. In the Simpsons episode The Mook, the Chef, the Wife, and Her Homer, Fat Tony gets taken out by a rival family, and Springfield instantly tips into a cartoon mafia war. There's a power vacuum, nervous politicians cutting deals, and ordinary people stuck in the middle while the mob quietly settles scores. Now jump to real life in 2026, and Mexico is living through a much darker version of that storyline. Nemesio El Mencho Oseguera Cervantes, boss of the Jalisco New Generation cartel and one of the most wanted criminals on the planet, was killed on February 22nd in a military raid in his home state of Jalisco.
Mexico's most powerful drug kingpin was killed during a military operation.
Within hours, cartel gunmen were blocking highways, burning vehicles, and attacking soldiers across multiple states, leaving scores of people dead and whole cities too scared to go outside. Are we reading too much into it, or did The Simpsons nail this one years ago? Drop your take in the comments. Number 5, mass surveillance and the end of privacy. In the Simpsons movie from the year 2007, there is a scene inside the National Security Agency. Rows of workers sit with headsets, listening to calls. One bored agent suddenly jumps up and shouts that he has found something interesting. It is a call from the Simpson family. The joke is clear. The government is listening to everyone.
Hey everybody, I found one! The government actually found someone we're looking for!
The show took it a step further in season 21, episode 20, To Surveil with Love, from the year 2010. After a bomb scare, Springfield covers every street with security cameras. At first, people are angry. Lisa leads a protest and calls it a police state. But as time passes, the town gets used to it. The cameras stay. Life goes on under constant watch. 6 years later, Edward Snowden proved that the first scene was not just a joke. Secret files showed that the National Security Agency had been quietly taking phone records for millions of people, including customers of major phone companies, and tapping into internet traffic as it crossed the world. The agency was building a huge map of who talks to whom, when, and from where. By the year 2026, the real world is far beyond anything that movie scene showed. In China, the government runs one of the largest camera networks on Earth. Reports say there are so many cameras that it works out to about 1 camera for every 2 people, many tied to face recognition systems that can track people in real time on streets, in train stations, even on beaches and ski slopes. These same tools are now sold to other governments. In the United States and other countries, cameras read license plates and send the data to big computer systems. Border agents and local police use computer programs to mark drivers with suspicious travel patterns so they can be stopped and searched later. In some places, school cameras that scan car plates have also been used to help immigration raids. Some cities are cutting back after public anger, but the basic system keeps growing. At the same time, a new business began to grow, focused on watching and rating people. One study says systems that score and track people could become a market worth more than $16 billion in 2026. These tools mix camera feeds, phone data, and online records to flag people who step out of line or fall into a high-risk group. This is the quiet part of the prediction. The scary thing is not only that the cameras see so much, but that most people have learned to live with it. Just like Springfield, the protest fades, and the feeling of being watched becomes normal. Number 4, media mega-mergers. One network to rule them all. In Season 6, Episode 19, Lisa's Wedding from 1995,
Little Lisa Simpson. You know, I always felt you were the best thing my name ever got attached to.
adult Lisa watches the news and sees Kent Brockman reporting on a channel called CNN-BCBS, a division of ABC. It is one long name made by mashing CNN, NBC, and CBS together, then putting them under ABC. The screen is covered in logos and brand names. It is a quick joke that says, "In the future, a few giant companies will own almost everything you watch." That gag does not feel like a joke anymore. In the real world, one of the biggest steps toward that future was when Disney bought most of 21st Century Fox. The deal, finished in the year 2019, was worth about $71.3 billion. It pulled the movie and TV studios behind The Simpsons, Avatar, X-Men, and many other shows and films into the same company that already owned Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and ABC. At the same time, the way people watch has changed. In the United States, streaming now eats up almost half of all TV viewing time. In the middle of 2025, Nielsen's Gauge report showed that streaming made up just under 45% of all TV viewing, more than broadcast and cable combined. By July of that year, that share had climbed to around 47%. When almost half of all viewing is online, whoever owns the main streaming apps holds the main gate to what people see. That is why the new fight over Warner Bros. Discovery is so important. In early 2026, Netflix put in an all-cash offer worth about $82.7 billion to buy Warner's studio and streaming side, which includes HBO and the Max service. Paramount Skydance came in with a higher competing bid and has kept trying to beat Netflix, pushing the price up again. Warner's board has told shareholders to back the Netflix deal, but either way, the result would be one giant player swallowing another huge set of shows, movies, and channels. Competition watchdogs in the United States and abroad are already warning that one more giant deal like this could crush what is left of smaller rivals and local players. Fewer owners does not just mean fewer apps on your TV, it means a small number of companies get to decide which stories are made, which ones are quietly dropped, and how news and history are framed for whole countries. Number 3, content control, entertaining you into submission. In season 36, episode 7, Simpsons' Wicked This Way Comes from 2024, Springfield has turned into a strict future town.
I'm not lying to make other people look stupid for believing me, and no one will believe me.
Homer works for a squad that hunts down low TV shows. Their job is to burn old tapes of silly game shows and prank clips. Only serious, heavy drama is allowed on screen. Homer finds a forbidden tape of America's Funniest Home Videos. He puts it on and starts laughing so hard he cannot stop. When his bosses catch him, the truth comes out.
Oh, that sounds like heaven.
Don't worry, a little re-education and you'll be as good as new.
The goal is not to make people smart. The goal is to keep them sitting still and quiet while the world outside falls apart. In that world, good TV is just another chain. Real life took a different road, but it is heading to the same place. Globally, more than 5 billion people now use social media. A typical user spends around 2 hours and 21 minutes every single day scrolling through feeds. That is a huge slice of human life poured into short videos, memes, and endless drama. The apps do not care if the clip is deep or dumb, they care if you stay. Their code watches every pause, every like, every swipe back, and then sends more of whatever holds your eyes. Short shot clips, fake fights, cheap jokes, strange stunts, all tuned to stretch one more minute from you, then one more. Leaders are starting to say this out loud. In early 2024, the heads of Meta, TikTok, X, Snap, and Discord had to sit in front of the United States Senate while parents of harmed teens watched from the seats. Lawmakers asked why these companies kept pushing harmful and obsessive content to young users while knowing it could wreck sleep, moods, and mental health. In February of the year 2026, a major trial began in Los Angeles. One case in California claims big social media companies built their products to hook children on purpose, like a gambling machine, because more time on the app means more money. Another case in New Mexico targets harmful material that children can see on these platforms. Europe is pushing from another side. A new law called the Digital Services Act now forces very large online platforms to explain how their feeds rank posts and to publish public reports on how their systems shape what people see. The first of these reports is due in 2026, and companies are already being fined for hiding how their systems work. Number 2, the death of truth. Deepfakes and AI-generated reality. In the Simpsons movie from 2007, Tom Hanks walks onto the screen and says, "Hello, I am Tom Hanks. The United States government has lost its credibility, so it is borrowing some of mine."
The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine.
It is a joke about trust, but it also feels like a warning. In late 2023, the real Tom Hanks had to warn fans that a video of him selling a dental plan was fake. A company used artificial intelligence to copy his face and voice and put them in an ad he never agreed to. It felt real on screen, but it was only a deep fake built by a machine from old images and sound. The same trick now hits elections. In Moldova, deepfake clips of President Maya Sandu are pushed by pro-Russian pages, putting false words in her mouth. In Germany, officials warn that fake videos and copycat news sites are used to spread lies and boost far-right parties. In Ireland in 2025, a TV-style deepfake claimed that candidate Catherine Connolly had quit the race and stayed online for hours before it was removed.
Catherine Connolly described an AI-generated video claiming she had dropped out of the presidential race.
One well-timed fake can shake trust in a whole vote. Bit by bit, it is getting harder to trust a face on a screen or a voice in a clip. In 2026, the death of truth is not a theory, it is part of daily life. Number 1. AI-generated fake Simpsons predictions. In the season 36 premiere, Bart's Birthday, from the year 2024, The Simpsons lets a robot brain write the ending. Conan O'Brien hosts a fake series finale and shows a chatbot called HackGPT. The bot is fed every past episode and told to write the perfect last story for Springfield. In its plan, Homer and Marge fix their marriage, Mr. Burns dies and leaves his fortune, and Bart is pushed to finally grow up. Everything is neat and sweet, like a goodbye card. Bart is the only one who feels it is wrong. He rebels, drags his family out of the script, and wrecks the happy ending. When Conan then asks HackGPT to make 800 more episodes, the machine cannot cope and explodes. That joke felt sharp when it aired. Now the same kind of tools are messing with the show's past. After the Francis Scott Key Bridge fell in Baltimore, in March 2024, a frame raced around social media that showed Homer and his family watching the bridge collapse on TV. People swore it was from an old episode. Fact-checkers at Reuters and Snopes dug through the full catalog and even asked a producer. The answer was clear. The shot was fake, built by an image generator, not by the real artists. That bridge hoax was not alone. Tech writers have tracked waves of fake Simpsons predicted it posts. One clip claimed the show warned about a huge internet blackout on a certain January date. Another picture said it called a megaquake in Japan. Others showed a made-up stadium scene tied to a Coldplay concert scandal. In case after case, the so-called proof came from AI tools stitching bits of real art together or inventing whole shots from scratch. On a phone screen, the colors and faces look close enough that many people hit share without a second thought. The odd thing is how much fans help it along. People like believing that this one cartoon can see the future, so AI tools feed that belief with scenes that fit the story in their heads. The most terrifying Simpsons prediction for 2026 is that you can't even trust the predictions anymore. Before you share the next Simpsons predicted it post, check if the screenshot is even real. Thanks for watching. Now check out the videos popping up on screen for more unbelievable stories.